Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here today. I appreciate you taking a few moments. If you want to follow along, we will be in the book of First John, chapter 5, and verse number 1. And as you're finding that, if you would, take just a second and click like or share or even type a brief comment, and I'll appreciate that very much. And then we'll look at this little verse. One of the things I have come to really appreciate about the letter of First John and really all of John's writings, well, maybe with the exception of Revelation, all of John's writings are very clear. You don't need, not that there's not some deep teaching that you can really dig into, but even just a simple reading of his words, whether in the Gospel of John or any one of these three letters, you can read them very simply, just and understand pretty much everything that John is saying. Again, you can dig deep and really get into some really deep discussions on what he says, and that's really not our purpose here, to tear apart every word and the tense and the Greek and all those things, but just a kind of a word of encouragement from these letters. But it is that John writes. It reminds me of something I was told years ago. When early in my ministry, I had a man tell me, say, you preach to the, and I hope this doesn't offend anybody, but he told me, he says, you preach to the youngest and the dumbest in your congregation, and everybody in the room will understand it. If you try to preach to the smartest man, he'll be the only one that gets it. And John's got that advice. He writes where everybody can understand what he has to say. Verse 1 here of chapter 5 is a perfect example when he says, everyone who believes that Jesus Christ has been born of God. Straightforward. And everyone who loves the Father loves whoever has been born of him. Simple statement. John says, if you believe in Jesus Christ, you have been born of God. We often use the phrase born again. If you believe in Jesus Christ, you are a child of God. Doesn't have anything to do with your economic position, your skin color, your nationality, your education. It's very simple. Do you believe in Jesus Christ? If you do, you are a child of God. And he said that's the hurdle. There's some people try to make it much more complicated. You have to do this. You have to you have to be baptized, or you have to just a lot of standards. No, John says it's very simple. If you believe in Jesus Christ, if you believe in him as your Savior, the Son of God, he says you have been born of God. You are a child of God. And then he goes on and he says, and here's proof of that. If you love God, you'll love those who are his children. You will love your brothers and sisters. This verse is, again, one that I don't really need to explain in great detail. He tells us here how we become a child of God, and then what happens when we do become a child of God. And again, remember, John at one point says that this is how people will know whether or not we love God is whether or not we love the brothers and sisters, whether we love each other. He says it's a very straightforward test. If you love God, you'll love those others who love God. It's kind of funny. You take and give you an example of that I think of anyway. As I look, a lot of times watch a sporting event, and you'll see They'll pan the crowd, and they'll be male, female, red, yellow, black, and white, rich, poor, and they all up there in the stands, and they're cheering on their team. They're hugging each other. They'll sit there in the stands, and their team does something good, and they'll turn around and high five or hug the person sitting beside of them. They may not know their name. They may not know where they're from. They don't know if they're homeless. They don't know if they're a doctor. They don't know anything about them. But they'll turn around, high five, and hug because they both are pulling for the same team. And because of that, they have a mutual love or attraction to each other. How much more should it be that if we love God or we love others who love God? What a shame it is when there's division and anger, and what a sad state when we hear of churches dividing and having disputes, because he says here, if we love God, if we're a child of God, we'll love each other. Think about it. You have a good day, and we'll see you here tomorrow morning.